Yes, we are back. The It Doesn't Matter podcast is back. I'm the Notorious One. I am Dom. I'm here with BDC, and I'm also here with Hollywood Facts. Plot to know is not here right now. It's been a long time since we've been here because it was WrestleMania season, but we are back, and we are going to kick it off with a bang. We are going to talk about Will Ospreay. BDC chose Will Ospreay. BDC, why did you choose Will Ospreay?
True story. I chose Will Ospreay because I wanted to get more knowledge on him outside of AEW. You can see snippets on TV. You get clips on social media all the time of crazy things he's done in the ring. But I saw his matches in AEW, and while they were good, um, there was certain aspects of his style that I wasn't a big fan of, and decided to choose him as kind of a way to educate myself on one, what he did outside of AEW, and two, the man himself. And I will say I learned quite a bit. And watching him perform, especially the string of matches leading up to his leaving New Japan Pro and going into AEW, showed me quite a bit. And has literally enticed me to go back further to see more of what he's got going on.
All right, well, Ospreay has a birthday coming up, so this is why he's the topic for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, BDC, what was your first match that you've seen of Will Ospreay that got your attention?
So, I mean, like I said, I'd seen his matches in AEW. So for this exercise, I watched his triple threat with John Moxley and David Finlay in January for New Japan Pro. And I have to say, all of his matches have been pretty lengthy. I think the matches that I watched were average like 40 minutes. And that first match, there was a lot of Finlay and Moxley. There was a lot of Moxley and Ospreay, but there was a lot of times where Ospreay was kind of out of the action, and it was mainly Moxley and Finlay. It felt to me, but it was still a good match. Being as though it wasn't technically a singles match, it kind of fell towards the way of your standard triple threat match. Not a whole lot of the no sell that I constantly complain about. But it was a really good match, and that was the first lesson that I learned. He is really good at telling stories in the ring, even when he's not actually doing anything in the ring. I learned more in the later matches, but yeah, if there's a story to be told in the ring, he's pretty good at conveying it without actually having to do much in the ring, and that's pretty cool, and that's a gift that not a lot of wrestlers have. I mean, we can talk about his actual moveset all day, but that was the one thing that kind of caught me even in that first match when it wasn't really necessarily all about him.
All right, well, before I sent the topics for the month of May, you said Will Ospreay, you definitely want to talk about. You said that you didn't see what all the hype was all about. So.
Yeah, and that was because, like I said, I heard his name, I saw the clips. I mean, I saw the clip of him being flipped off the top rope and landing on his feet. I saw the infamous Ospreay Prince Puma spot where they did basically a choreographed session in the ring and ended up landing next to each other. I've seen all of that. And then I went into AEW, and what I saw a lot of the time was he was basically no selling half the match, and that just hit me wrong because it's like, okay, dude, you can't be invincible for the entire match. You just can't be. It's like you get hit with a pretty lethal super kick to the head, and then your immediate response is, I'm going to swing it to the ropes and I'm going to get you with 1-2, and then we're going to go back and forth for the next 3 minutes doing stuff like that. So a lot of that bothered me because it's like, you're supposed to suspend some realism, but I don't have to be hit over the head with a brick to realize, okay, come on now. Like at some point, this stuff's going to hurt, right? So that was my problem. With the style of wrestling that he was putting on. And I mean, it takes two to tango. He wasn't the only one. People that he was wrestling against was doing the same thing. So, but that was kind of my knock as far as his AEW run so far. And as I said, it showed itself a little bit in some of the matches that I watched outside of AEW, but it wasn't nearly as much. It wasn't nearly as gimmicky. It was, and that made me appreciate what he does a little more, and it allowed me to see things that he does a little more because it wasn't draped in that gimmick of no selling everything.
Well, many people believe that Will Ospreay is one of the greatest performer of all time, given a lot of match of the year a lot of match of the year contention and whatnot. And I definitely can see it, but that style that he works, the whole no selling whatnot, and the no selling, overselling, false finishes, that's not happening on WWE product.
Yeah, and like I said, I've watched indie for a bit off and on, and so even in that, it wasn't something that I was overly used to. That's like kind of something that it feels like he kind of brought in, and I mean it works for him because of how athletic it is. It works for him. I think the problem becomes is that when he does it, everyone else does it, and then you start to lose reality with that. When you have a guy who's 5 foot nothing and 140 pounds, no selling stuff that a 6'2" fitty guy is throwing at you. Yeah, no, that there is nothing realistic about that at all. Like I said, beat me over the head. I still have to. It's a show, yes. Kayfabe, all that. I still have to believe it. And for the life of me, you're not going to get me to believe that a guy Gunther size chops you as hard as he hits and the welts that he leaves on a guy that's a foot shorter and like got like 70 pounds on him, like just a lightweight, and he's just going to take that chop and then run into the ropes and then hit you with one on his own. No, don't. Nope. Nice try.
I'll tell you what. Remember back in a while ago, I said numerous times that Shawn Michaels can never come back because of the super kick. Everybody uses that move.
The super kick has been abused ad nauseum now. No one will ever believe the super kick a finisher anymore because of, again, and there's another one, the AEW and your boys over there. Look, you know the ones.
Who's my boys? Oh, the Bucks.
You know your boys, the Bucks, the young Bucks of youth. Your boys, the Bucks of youth. Yeah, your boys, who uses a super kick to brush your teeth. I mean, it's just you. And the thing of it is it's bound to happen with most every move. Because I mean, once upon a time, the pile driver was a finisher, and now it's not. People use that as kind of a comeback move. Kevin Owens for a while he brought it back as an actual finisher or something that really caused damage. But for the most part, it's like these moves that were finishers are now setup moves and counters and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's kind of the nature of the beast, but at the same time, it's like like you said, if Shawn Michaels came back today, no one would believe that his super kick would be capable of doing anything because everyone does the super kick now. And I mean, everyone.
Yep. So I see why AJ Styles is going hiatus every now and then because
Yeah.
Ospreay does the flying forearm, the Styles Clash.
Yeah.
You name
Yeah.
it.
He does. And AJ's not a young buck anymore, so he can't just utilize the spinal tap every time he has a match. He can't. He
Yeah,
just can't.
he said he ain't doing that anymore like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So um, you have to have something. And I mean, the thing was Styles Clash was his finisher in TNA. He came over to WWE and you thought it was going to be that, but then it became the flying forearm, which was kind of a setup move in TNA. So it's like we move around, and again, with Styles Clash, anybody who watched WWE knew about the Styles Clash before you even got there because Michelle McCool was using it. So
Yeah, she didn't do it.
hey,
She didn't do it that good, but yeah, it's not
yeah,
like
because
AJ
she's
Styles, but
there.
yeah.
So I mean, we knew what the Styles Clash was before Styles got there, and those of us who follow Styles knew what it was. So um, yeah, it's insane. It's insane how that happens with moves these days.
So, what do you think about all the spot fest, man? Like, is it too much at times? Like, that's all you see.
I
Like, it's
and
like every single eight. I'm not knocking AEW because that's AEW style, whatever. But it's like every single match is like the same thing over and over and
that's
whatnot.
and that's ultimately my personal opinion. That's the problem because it's like if you I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to give a mainstream wrestling promotion an indie feel, and I get that. But the problem is that the indies don't even do that to that degree that AEW does it. So it's like you essentially you took the creators of the Spot Fest. Essentially what you did, you had the Bucks, Kenny Omega. These guys were basically the guys that basically invented the Spot Fest. And you put them all in AEW, and that is what majority of them do now. And you know, it was good when you were in organizations where it was a feature because it didn't happen that much. So when it did happen, it was kind of like, oh shit, cool. But when you have made it into a style where everyone does it, like it loses its luster, it loses its impact because everybody does it. You've gotta have something that you can do, but not everyone can do, so that there's something special behind it, and you lose that when everybody does it. You just do.
So, back in the day, they were talking about the comparison between Will Ospreay and Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
Still to this day, it's still Will Ospreay all day because Will Ospreay he actually could cut a promo. It's not it's
And
not great, but it's definitely
right,
better than Ricochet. I'll definitely
right,
say that.
and I mean, and his promo that he cut to at the end of his match with Okada rather, that was a pretty decent. Yeah, it was a pretty decent. It was a pretty decent promo. I didn't know he was autistic. He put that out there. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he was autistic.
Who Okada was or
Ospreay.
Ospreay?
Ospreay.
I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that. He literally said he was like talking about himself and thanking the fans and stuff like that. He said he was autistic. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. But yeah, he cut an amazing pro. Like I felt his promo, so I was like, okay, yeah, okay, I get that. Um, so yeah, and I think when it comes to Ricochet, because again, you saw clips on TV of what he was about. You saw clips on social media about, in other words, of what he was about and what he could do. And then he went to WWE, and immediately WWE style is slow things down. It's not about doing things fast. It's about doing things safe and, not running the risk as much as humanly possible. So they slow Ricochet down. And like you said, Ricochet, love the guy, can't cut a promo to save his damn life. Yeah. And I mean, he's somewhat getting better at it now, but the bar is so damn low, it's not really. But you see a lot of that with him, and you see a lot of Ospreay, and I can see where people was like, "Oh yeah, well they're just alike." They have similar ability, similar move sets, a similar risk, a similar want to risk, for entertainment purposes. So I get it.
So Strap, who do you prefer? Do you prefer Will Ospreay or Ricochet?
I mean, I can see where the resemblance, not physically, but
Right.
moveset wise. I think the better question. No, there's no better question. Just comparing the two. Obviously, that's why they were paired to face against each other, and that's why they drew the ire of the wrestling community. But who has more potential to be, a main event star? And that'd be Will Ospreay. I mean, Ricochet. I mean, he came into AEW as a face, as an excitable face, and people obviously quickly turned against him, as they do, because they're just a want, give me nation. You know what? We give and you take it all, you bastards. But that's why Ricochet had to turn heel a little bit and develop his character. He admittedly was terrible on promos, and sometimes that has to happen. You give someone make him a heel, make him a bad guy, and it comes out. Another side of them comes out. Isn't that right, Hollywood, brother?
Hollywood.
But Will Ospreay was the same thing. He was given that chance, and he had more time to develop that main event personality, and that's what he did with the United Empire and the built-in long storyline, which is so amazing to see now in AEW that Okada and Will Ospreay are both there, and it's kind of like, yeah, they don't erase history per se, but they had such a major storyline built up for so many years with Will Ospreay as the young Padawan, and well, here they both are now. But I still think Ricochet has tremendous potential. He still has a ways to go, but right now Will Ospreay is closer to that main event level, and he will be AEW's top new guy. So,
facts. All right, well, let's take it to January 13th of 2024, Battle of the Valley. We have Will Ospreay taking on Okada, the Rainmaker. And this is one of Will Ospreay's last matches in New Japan, because he's going to be in AEW in the next 2 months or so. And they showed like a nice ass video package, the whole history between between Will Ospreay and Okada. It seemed like Okada got the best of Will Ospreay, but man, they had some classics between these two, and you see Okada like slowly getting to that heel, throwing the middle finger up like he's doing now in AEW. But it was pretty cool to start January of 2024. So BDC, was it your first time seeing Okada, or have you seen him beforehand?
No, I've seen Okada before. I've seen Okada before. Rainmaker is one guy that I was very, very well aware of before he made the jump to AEW. And yeah, I thought he was unique. I thought he was really unique. His finisher is just a hell of a clothesline.
A short arm clothesline. That's all it is.
A hell of a clothesline. But it's crazy because, again, somebody with that level of ability hit his finisher as a short arm clothesline. So, but yeah, I was aware of him before This match, I was aware of him before AEW. I think I first became aware of Okada when Jericho left and he went to New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's when I got my first taste of Okada. Was when Jericho made that jump, and I thought he was really good then. That hasn't changed, although his persona in AEW is some. I think he's too much of a. I think he's been too much of a star in New Japan Pro Wrestling to just go to AEW and be like a minion to the Bucks. Yeah, it just did feel all that right. It was like he, especially coming off, people knew who he was when he came, and that was exactly the first thing you do to him is you just make him a minion to the Bucks and the minion to whatever they were at the time, being in charge or whatever they wanted to call themselves at the time.
So Strap, what are your opinion on Okada role in AEW right now? Yes, he was the top guy in New Japan, but now he's in AEW. Do you feel like he took like a smaller role, a backseat to somebody, one of the many great talent that they have? Hollywood.
Great question, Tom. I would just like to remark a little bit about what he said about the Rainmaker finisher and all the wrestlers from New Japan. Of course, they kind of live, they live in a bubble over there. They, watch New Japan wrestling. Fans watch New Japan wrestling. WWE fans watch WWE, and that's what it is. And I remember hearing about Tanahashi, and he had the high fly flow. What is that? That sounds incredible. It's a splash. It's a frog splash. Like, all right, and
it's an ugly frog splash too, by the
way. Same thing with the Rainmaker. Oh man, that Rainmaker puts people out, man. It's a short arm clothesline. So you just have to put it in context, and once you get the hang of it, once you pick up the controller and you're like, okay, this is how the game is played. It's not how other games are played, but it's how this game is played. Okay, I can deal with that. I can roll with that. And once you become accustomed to that, you can see it's like, okay, the Rainmaker is a sick finisher. Okay, high fly flow, that works when he nails it. So in that respect, the finishers, you just clothesline, splash. It's like, take it in context. That's usually what people have to do, and a lot of people take things out of context. As for like Okada's current position in AEW, it's like it's a tough position for anyone in AEW. Like, listen, they wrestle most twice a week, at minimum none a week. And for a guy like Okada, it's like, what the hell? This guy is super talented. Why can't they use him more? It's like, you can't use him. He's not a guy you need to use every week, unfortunately. It's like, I hope there's like what is he doing with his time? What are all these people doing with their time? Maybe he, Japanese wrestling is a tough lifestyle. So maybe he's enjoying, maybe he's living in America. I imagine like Shinsuke Nakamura is just having a hell of a time. He's like, hey man, I worked my ass off in Japan and I'm in the States. I got a great contract. I live in Tampa or whatever. I surf all the time. I love my life.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a rumor out there that his contract is up. Shinsuke's contract is up, and he may not be renewing. So
I did see that, but
yeah, I don't know how true that is. I just saw it earlier today, and I mean, we'll see as the time comes. Clearly, they didn't. If he wasn't on the list of roster moves that happened over the last couple of days, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
It's a weird thing with Nakamura. It's I'd love to see him stick around. I really don't think he has a place back in Japan, but does he have a place here in the States? I still think so. Whether they choose to use him a lot or not, well, that's up to them. But I'm sure they would keep him under contract. I don't know how much he gets paid, but I'm sure he gets paid enough to make him happy. And I think he stays here in the States.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Shinsuke, I think where they dropped the ball is turning him heel the first time. And the reason why I say that is because he had come in, he was over, he was very much worthy of being pushed to the moon, and then they just kind of stagnated him on title defense after title defense that he lost. Then they turned him heel, and a huge part of what made him beloved by the fans, which was his theme, was changed and gone. So then it was, I guess, a combination of his theme and Japanese rap or whatever it was. But it did, it was like you were gradually taking the things that made him really, really over with the fans, and you were kind of taking it and snapping it away, and he never really recovered from that. You got this current iteration of him, which people like because he's just basically going in the ring, take no shit. But now you've even kind of dusted that by how he lost his title, so now he's kind of back in the mire again. And for a guy like Shinsuke, when you have him on a high, you can't afford to let that go because it's really, really delicate. And if you lose it, you may not get it back, no matter how hard you try. He's not like a LA Knight that can talk himself back. He's not like a Seth Rollins that can move the crowd one way or the other, not only necessarily by what he says, but by his actions. Shinsuke's not that guy. He will say very little, and then he will let what he does on the ring speak for him. And if you kill the elements that make him who he is, which was the charismatic guy that danced his way down to the ring and was making all these over-the-top flamboyant gestures and all this stuff like that. You had the violins playing, and it all was attuned to his style, and you take that away from him, now what do you have? You have a guy that's now fighting harder to make his action in the ring speak for him when you've taken away everything that would connect him to the fan base.
Yeah, well, you basically summed it all up in Nakamura's career. So,
yeah,
hopefully it works out for him. But all right, back to this Okada and Ospreay match. It was a good ass match. It started off technical based style, with wasn't flashy in the beginning, but everything Ospreay did was so fluent. Okada, was working heel. He slowed the pace down. And then there was this one point in the match, it caught my attention. Okada goes for that Rainmaker, that short arm clothesline, and Ospreay countered that shit into a Spanish fly. That shit was dope. That shit was real dope.
Yep.
Another move I can't stand anymore because it's overused and oversaturated. The Spanish fly. Yep. And then they had this one moment where Okada goes for his signature dropkick, where I say probably one of the best dropkicks right now compared to Randy Orton's.
Mm-hmm.
But Ospreay caught him in midair with that powerbomb. That shit was fire. That sequence was just fire right there. Yep. I enjoyed that.
Yep.
But the finish of the match, Okada with the Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3. After that, they hug it out.
Yep.
And we'll see you in December, basically.
And I think the record was Okada is 8-2 versus Ospreay.
Yep.
And they hyped it up because, again, storytelling. They hyped it up about how his first victory was tainted. There was interference, and then the second one was actually pure talent, and he really wanted to get that third one, and that was like one of the driving elements of the match. And you can kind of tell it. You can tell it in how there were points where he just looked like he was running on desperation. And I mean, it ultimately didn't work out, but it made for a hell of a good match.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So the next match I watched definitely caught my attention. January 18th, 2024. It was a TNA show. Hollywood. John. What are your thoughts on Josh Alexander, the walking weapon?
I love that dude.
I know there's a reason you called me out on this because I don't like him. I don't like the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. I think he looks like an idiot. I don't care if he has cauliflower ears. You know, show us your ugly ass cauliflower ears. You look just as ugly as Braun Strowman is, and I'd rather watch him. He's a former Universal Champion, after all. Former Intercontinental Champion, after all. Josh Alexander, what have you done besides being an ugly ass loser in TNA? Now AEW, thank goodness.
Quick question: I haven't seen him. What's he doing in AEW right now? Is he with Don Callis' family?
He was the mystery opponent for, I think, Hangman Page in the Owen Hart tournament. No pop, as Roman Reigns would say.
Yeah, damn.
No, not really. And you know what are you gonna do? It's like, I mean, Speedball Mike Bailey also did like kind of a debut, I think, in the same manner, but at least I like him.
Yeah, but then, if I'm not mistaken, Josh Alexander came in that match, and I think it was either towards the end of the match or after the match was over. Callis came down, and then he came in and he attacked. After Callis talked to him, said something, and then he goes and he attacks him, and then he walks out.
Yeah, it's a classic wrestling trope. You know, the guy loses, babyface comes in hot, loses on his debut, realizes I'm in over my head gear, and he decides to team up with the evil Don Callis, a guy who can get you more heat than a electronic fireplace. So, yeah, he's heel with Don Callis, and Don Callis' family has grown so large, he better wrap that thing up. So, that's what he's doing right now. And, you know, Brian Cage got injured, so Powerhouse Hobbs was injured before. So the I was going to say the House of Truth, but the House of Don Callis is an ever-revolving door of people who get hurt, replaced, and pushed.
Well, I was about to say,
even that guy, Mark Davis, you know,
the other one, Kyle Fletcher partner,
I was about to say,
the ugly one.
Is Hobbs
the ugly one?
Is Hobbs still a part of the House of? Is he still a part of Don Callis' house? Because I was about to say he's trios champion with Samoa Joe. Now,
what?
Yeah, I will take the blame on this. There's a little audio delay. I think it's my fault, but whatever. But yeah, Hobbs did come back because he was mad at the Don Callis family for abandoning him while he was hurt, and he replaced Hook in the Ops trios tag team, and that was a great moment. Yeah, Hobbs is
they beat the Death Riders clean pin on Mox.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the champ with?
Samoa Joe and is it who is
Shibata?
Who is this other guy?
Oh my god,
Shibata
team.
Yeah, it's a very weirdly put together team, but
Wow.
It's a cool trio, but it's just a weird. It's the name, the Ops. It's kind of a stupid name. Their song is stupid. Their merchandise is stupid. But I like all three of them, so I'll give them that.
Yeah. And I mean, anything to get a series of belts off the Death Riders, I guess works.
Well, John, I know you don't like Josh Alexander, but this is a must-watch match right here. I believe it was at Hard to Kill in Las Vegas at the time, and this is the second time Will Ospreay and Josh Alexander they banged out, and it was a very technical match in the beginning. And next, business picked up. It was like a 25-minute match, and Will Ospreay he kept teasing the table. He pulled out the table from the ring or under the ring. He set it up, and then it just kept teasing it, and then finally got to the point where both men are on the ring apron. Ospreay side kicks Josh Alexander. Then he hit him with a tiger driver through the table. Oh my god, what a spot! The place was going nuts, man. It was something to definitely watch. And then the referees thinking about just stopping the match because my man was hurt.
Let me give y'all a little quick.
Pornhub. Anyways.
What?
What you watching over there?
It's Facebook, man.
Anyways, Josh Alexander, he's trying to make it to the ring by the 10 count. He's
Mhm.
crawling. Next thing you just see Will Ospreay just fly from the top rope and drop kicks the hell out of Josh Alexander. He's getting in the ring. And then Alexander, he gets in the ring, or he gets up. He starts hulking up. He's pissed off. He's so pissed off, he threw his damn headset. And then Josh Alexander hit the C4 spike, which is basically like a damn like underhook brain buster or
Mhm.
pile driver, whatever, like the Jerry Lynn finisher, whatever you want to call it.
J Driller.
Yeah, basically, yeah, similar to that. And Josh got the win. This match had everything. The fans was hyped. But the only thing I didn't like, and you got cut out beforehand, I'm not liking how the Styles Clash is just a false finish now. I said beforehand that that's why AJ Styles is always on hiatus. All his moves are getting taken away now. He can't win. For that same reason. Only thing he got is getting hacked.
Listen, I feel you. This is why I appreciate Baron Corbin or Tom Peacock or so much. Or
Bishop
what is he?
Dyer.
What is he? Bishop Dyer now?
Bishop
Yeah,
Dyer.
because he did everything possible to protect his finisher.
Yeah.
And there's not enough of that these days. It's really not. It's really not.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, definitely check out this match. It was definitely worthwhile. And
Yeah,
I like Josh Alexander. I know you're not a fan of him, but definitely check it out. But all right, here we go. I know all y'all might get excited for this one. March 3rd, Revolution. He takes on Takeshita. And this match right here made me a fan of Takeshita. This is Will Ospreay's AEW pay-per-view debut right here. And my God, it was another physical fight. All Will Ospreay fights is physical. So you got to hear me say that damn every single time.
Right.
But just like me and BDC were saying earlier, that it was a lot of counters, a lot of no sellings. Yeah. And one hot sequence during this match is when Ospreay went for that Oz cutter off the the springboard, the Cody cutter, whatever you want to call it. And then Takeshita called him to that Blue Thunder Bomb. Oh my God, John! I remember. I think we watched that at your crib. I was on the edge of the seat while Abel might have been asleep.
What were we eating?
Was it pizza? Pizza and wings.
That's how I remember the party. Yeah, what food do we have? Oh, yeah, that one.
But yeah, it was a good ass match. The fans are chanting "Fight Forever," and then we see Takeshita sitting on the top rope, and then Ospreay's going for the Hurricanrana, but Takeshita just held on to the ropes, and then Ospreay got back up, and then he hit him with that brain buster, and then he got bruised his whole backside. Oh my God, it was crazy. They even showed the replay on that joint. But the finish of the match, we see Ospreay with the Tiger Driver, and they hit Takeshita with that. What's his flying elbow called?
Hidden Blade.
Yeah.
Oh, that elbow to the back of the head?
Yep.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Is this on?
I will say I've seen him throw some nasty shots to the back of people's heads, and it's just like, yo, it looked like he killed them. He throws some
strikes are always a weird thing as a finisher. When Davey Richards was the man in Ring of Honor, he would always, that was his finisher. It was like a hard kick or whatever, and then he wouldn't act. I mean, he's a pro wrestler. We're not actually supposed to hit them, so he wouldn't. But it just looked weak. It's like, oh, he finished him with a kick. Yeah, all right. 1, 2, 3. It's like that was it after this long ass match. So, but the Hidden Blade. Wasn't a big fan of it initially. But he can cover it pretty well. So so he can keep it. He can keep this.
He makes it look very effective.
That's funny you say that, because April 21st of 2024 at StrapFacts House, AEW Dynasty, Will Ospreay took on Bryan Danielson. Ospreay said he can't call himself the GOAT until he pins Bryan Danielson. This is a dream match right here.
I look
forward to this match. Great ass match. Chain wrestling. Oh man. But the finish of the match, we see Bryan in the corner going for the yes. You know he's gonna go for that flying knee. And then you see Will Ospreay, he's pissed off. He take that damn elbow pad off. And these two dudes, they just collide at each other. Bryan go with the knee. Switchblade with not Switchblade. Will Ospreay with the
Hidden Blade.
It's funny. The elbow connected before the knee. I don't know how the hell that happened. But he knocked his ass out. Then he hit him with that damn not the Storm Driver. The Tiger Driver. God damn, he got too many damn moves.
Oh, he's the Stormbreaker.
Stormbreaker, Storm Driver, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Storm Zero, I don't know. It doesn't make a difference. But yeah. The Tiger Driver, that's what it was. The Tiger Driver, the match is over.
Actually, it does make a difference, Dom.
It still knocked Bryan's ass out. And then Bryan's neck was all messed up. And you see everybody running to the ring. And yeah.
Help him! Help him! Help!
Good ass match. That was a great ass match right there. Matter of fact, I'm about to look and see how many stars your boy Dave Meltzer gave that match.
Yeah, you know, standard 5.
Doesn't matter.
Maybe 6.
Doesn't matter what he gave
it.
What'd you guys give it?
Ospreay
All Bryan matches are 10 stars.
Ospreay gets a blanket 5, and then Meltzer just goes up from there.
Dave Meltzer gave it 6.5 stars.
See what I mean?
Breaking the scale.
Mm-hmm.
It was real good.
The same people who are like, what does Dave Meltzer know? And then like the same people that go, oh my God, he gave him 5, 6, 7 million stars. It is a good match. Well, which is it? His scale is invalid or it's not?
That was a good ass.
Pick a side, monkeys.
It was a great match. He's that scale is still off though.
Do you think
the scale is very biased?
Do you think 100 Will Ospreays can beat one
toward
gorilla?
Good workers?
Did you ask?
I'm tired of all this internet bullshit.
One gorilla?
100 Will Ospreays can it beat one gorilla? What do you think?
No.
Dave Meltzer give it instant classic.
500 stars. Five stars for each Will Ospreay.
Too damn funny. BDC, but did you see that Bryan Danielson match in Ospreay?
I actually think I saw that match when it aired. I remember seeing them fight, and I remember thinking he killed him. Mm-hmm. I very much remember. It was like, oh, is he dead? He might have killed him. Shit. Yeah. For some reason I remember Bryan Danielson trauma. So like getting the bag over his head by Mox and anything that was extremely traumatic, I've kind of retained for some reason. Don't know why, but as I said, I think I saw that match when it aired because I expressly remember thinking Daniel Bryan might be dead or Bryan Danielson might be dead. Yeah.
All right. May 26, 2024, Double or Nothing. Will Ospreay's going against Roderick Strong for the International Championship strap. Remember that match?
He had to win the international title from somebody. It's like he's a former international champion. Like I can't remember everyone's title reigns.
The Messiah, the Backbreaker, my guy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, Roderick Strong is an incredible worker, and I mean that's the thing. I mean, you're going down the laundry list of Will Ospreay matches, and like he doesn't miss, man.
He doesn't.
It'd be a better exercise to find the bad Will Ospreay matches, and that would probably you'd have to go early into his career for that. He's just kind of he's not hit his peak, but we call it in his prime, right? Mm-hmm. So everything he does is just going to be pretty much gold from here on out. So just chalk it up another one. Yeah. Although I do, we're talking about finishers, and it's like it's like, God, yeah, protect your finish, man. Protect all 6 of them. It's like,
right.
Come on, a Stormbreaker can pin someone.
Yeah.
A Tiger Driver can pin someone. Well, they protected that. One hidden blade can pin someone. Please. So let's get that done. And
I'm just going over
the kicking out of finishers like AJ Styles. It's not. You can always say it's not the originator who's doing it. So that's what you can say.
Yeah, but I had to relive this match. I'm a big Roddy guy, and
yeah, he's very.
It's when he was down with the. Well, he's still down with the. Was it the Undisputed Kingdom?
Oh man.
So they got Matt Taven and Mike Bennett ringside with Roddy, and man, they're interfering left and right during this match. And I don't know why Bryce Remsburg doesn't throw these guys out. Matt Taven dove outside the ring trying to hit Ospreay with like this doomsday device. He barely touched him. I feel like Ospreay just flipped up before this dude even touched him, and he just laid out. And then the ref just sees all three guys just laid out, Taven, Bennett, and Ospreay, and he doesn't do nothing. Then another time during the match, Bennett and Taven trying to interfere again. Wardlow comes out of nowhere, getting ready to powerbomb Will Ospreay, and referee happens to just bump in the to Will Ospreay, and then get out the ring before your man loses the title. I'm like, why don't you just throw all their asses out? So Ospreay finally counters and then does this damn one of his top rope flips, take out three guys, and then they finally get kicked out. And
he literally had to beat the shit out of him in order for him to get kicked out. That's
basically. But Don Calais, he was on commentary, and he told Ospreay, hit him with the Tiger Driver. Hit him with the Tiger Driver. Send his ass to the hospital. He's already hurt. Send his ass to the hospital. But he's mad hesitant because of what he did to Bryan Danielson. But he didn't do it. He won with the Stormbreaker, and he's your new international champion. Boom. Yeah, we named like 5 matches so far, and they're all good.
Been good? Yeah.
They're all good.
Yeah.
I've been watching Will Ospreay all day today. And then this next match, All In, London, August 25th. Ospreay versus MJF for the AEW American title. Yep, remember when MJF won the title and he made it the American Championship with the red, white, and blue, the flag, and all that stuff like that. Ospreay had the dope ass entrance. That's when they was advertising Assassin's Creed that's about to come out at the time. And
did he come out? Did he come out in the Assassin's Creed hood? Did he come out in that hood again?
Nah, he had some type of jacket on.
Because the first 2 matches I saw the January matches, he was wearing an Assassin's Creed kind of hood when he came out to the ring. And so I was like, I wonder if you mentioned that, I was like, I wonder if he wore that to the ring, but
nah, he just had like some one of his.
Yeah.
I might not notice. It could have been. I wasn't really into Assassin's Creed like that. But MJF has this nice ass robe, red, white, and blue. He's very patriotic. But basically, Tony Schiavone said he's full of shit. And then he had the Lex Luger trunks on.
Yeah.
The crowd was loving his theme song, but they was booing the hell out of him. And another classic, man. MJF is just so damn good, and he knows how to piss off the crowd.
Yeah, that he embraces being a heel, and it shows.
Yeah. Well, the finish of the match, MJF, he grabs something out of his trunk, a foreign object. Maybe it's an American object because he's all about the USA, and he's getting ready to punch. He's getting ready to punch Will Ospreay, but a hooded guy just come out of nowhere, and then he just clocks MJF, and MJF just sitting there like, what the hell? Who are you? And next, the big reveal is Daniel Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
John, I remember when Daniel Garcia's career almost got ended by MJF.
Yep.
Yeah, and they tease him signing to the other company.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He hit Daniel Garcia so bad when he came so hard when he came back he started dancing.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, Ospreay won the title with the Tiger Driver, and he didn't want to touch that American title. So we got that school teacher coming out of nowhere, Christopher Daniels. He presents him with the international championship.
That school teacher.
That's what he looks like. He looks like a damn school teacher. So he's dressed with a pencil in his ear. Oh man, teaching health class. Another banger.
Yeah.
And I watched one more match, and it was pretty good because I remember Strap, myself, and Platino. We went to the Go Home show before Full Gear in New Jersey. We was in Bridgeport, and he's going against his old friend Kyle Fletcher. He's tired of being called the next Will Ospreay. He want to be himself, and Ospreay comes out in the black hoodie with like the Punisher skull on it. All serious. Kyle Fletcher had the all white on with the gold chain and the crown. And these dudes, they just, staring at each other. They took their gear off, and as soon as the bell rung, it was straight business. Straight business.
Yeah, and Kyle Fletcher can go.
I like Kyle Fletcher.
Fletcher can go.
Yes. Once I seen him that night
in
Bridgeport, I'm like, yo, I'm a big fan of Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
And Ospreay put him over. Fletcher got the win.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
I mean, I think all was well. I think all ended up well in the end because I think he did end up hitting the Tiger Driver 97 on him at some point. He didn't want to, but
Fletcher...
No, I'm just saying it's not that match, but I think he did. He did end up. The feud ended up ending with him hitting him with the Tiger Driver 97.
Yeah, and the finish of the match was Fletcher hitting the brain buster on the top rope, and Ospreay was just out.
Yeah, that
out for the count.
That move was fucking lethal. It was kind of like he pulled him up, and then it was kind of like a spin off, and his head just hit. I was like, yo.
John, what are your thoughts on this match right here?
I don't remember that. It was my birthday. It was around my birthday, though. You did offer to buy me something, and you probably did. But
he lushed.
But yeah, I think Will Ospreay was going through a period of time when he was just like, because his best friend, turned on him, so he had to be, sad, emo Will Ospreay, and that was the time. And this was just going to be their first match in a feud that would end a couple months ago on pay-per-view in that cage match. It was a brutal cage match. I mean, but on the night of that pay-per-view, much has happened to us old folk in our late night pay-per-view watching days. Fell asleep, didn't see it. But I heard about it. Heard how vicious it was, and I was like, well, I guess I have to go check it out. It took me about a month, but I finally went back to watch because I already heard of the description of the match. I was like, oh man, it's like I'm not really into that hardcore stuff, so but yeah, it was just this very sinister and violent and bloody and brutal match that's supposed to cap off their feud that started apparently all the way back in November or September at actually, it was at a Grand Slam, too. I was at that one. But, and then they're, so they had the finale and they started teasing it again recently in the Owen Hart Cup. So it's like, come on, don't go back to this, please. So I don't even know what the standings are for the Owen Hart right now. But Kyle Fletcher, it's like I didn't really peg him for much. But, he's worked really hard and he's gotten in tremendous shape, kind of like a Gunther, and... it's like I I don't put him on the scale of like, you know, Josh Alexander or even Austin Theory of guys I just can't stand. But he's a really good heel. He does a great job. I still don't like him though, but he can get it done for sure. He's a great pro wrestler.
Well, any final thoughts on Will Ospreay?
I will say that I am glad that I chose him as a topic, because I don't think if I had, I would have dug back into the archives to really see him for what he was outside of AEW, because doing that made me respect him a lot more than I did just for his run in AEW. So I'm appreciative of the fact that I chose the topic and then kind of forced myself to have to delve in to actually have some content to talk about. So yeah, I appreciate that and respect him for it a lot more now than I did before I brought this topic up.
John, I got a question for you. Do you think Ospreay's style will work in the WWE?
No, because he ain't going. Would it work? Like, would anyone's style can work in the other company? Well, actually, let me fix that. Most people's style can work anywhere. If they can get over, they can get over. They just have to be given that opportunity, you know. Just, you know, this is way far away from Mr. Ospreay, but think about a guy like Bobby Roode, man. He was the man in TNA. He wasn't the flashiest guy. He was a very solid worker. And, you know, he got over in NXT with the glorious gimmick, and they brought him to the main roster. Could he have gotten over? I mean, he did with the U.S. title for a bit of time, and he was part of the Dirty Dogs, or with Dolph, and then with Chad Gable too. It's all about if you are given that chance. And I mean, I don't think Vince would have ever seen it in Bobby Roode. I know Triple H definitely saw stuff in Beer Money back in the day,
Right.
But and we're talking about Nakamura a couple of years ago. Same thing. It's like it's all Vince stuff, and you know he's had many successes, but he's also had many bombs. So,
Right.
But Will Ospreay in the current WWE situation, he would do extremely well. He'll do extremely well anywhere he goes because he is a generational talent. No. But he is very talented. So yeah, he can survive anywhere as long as they give him a chance. I mean, and then going back to, you know, his comparisons with Ricochet, like Ricochet's the same thing. It's like he was like a can't miss, but they did miss, you know. And by the time you know, Triple H got into more power, Ricochet had already been around and been beaten as a mid-card U.S. champ, intercontinental guy. So the sparkle was off him. So it is all about opportunity, and it is about luck, and you know, if you get the fortunate, the right place, the right time, you know. But yeah, Will Ospreay, his style of absolutely, he can make it in WWE. To answer your question, sir, he can. Yes, he can.
Can make it all over the place. All right. Well, that concludes our Will Ospreay episode. But next week is Hollywood Strap's choice. He chose Extreme Rules 2013. I'm gonna run through the card right quick. In our opening match, we got Chris Jericho taking on Fandango.
Oh boy! Wait a minute. Okay.
In the next match for the United States Championship, we have Dean Ambrose taking on Kofi Kingston. Then we have a strap match. Sheamus taking on Mark Henry.
Oh, God.
After this, for your World Heavyweight Championship, we have an I Quit match. No, to determine the number one contendership for the World Heavyweight Championship, we have Alberto Del Rio taking on Jack Swagger.
Oh, my God.
We got a Tornado Tag Team match for the tag titles. Player, we have the Shield of Roman Reigns and Seth frickin' Rollins taking on Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane. You chose it for Daniel Bryan. That's the reason why. We we got an Extreme Rules match. We have Randy Orton taking on the Big Show. We got a last man standing match for the WWE Championship. John Cena is taking on Ryback. And then your main event is a steel cage match. We have Brock Lesnar taking on Triple H.
Oh my goodness!
Look at your face. Your face looks so disgusting. Why did you choose this show?
There have been in the modern era, the WWE. Actually, this is still not the WWE Network era, so scratch that. There were a handful of pay-per-views that I have never seen, and this would be one of them. I never saw this pay-per-view. I never saw Triple H and Lesnar 2. I never saw the freshly turned heel Ryback challenging John Cena. So that's one of the leading reasons. That's probably is the reason. I just when thinking about it, I'm like, I just don't think I ever watched this show, and I never bothered to go back to watch it. And hearing the lineup, it's just kind of like maybe I'll be pleasantly entertained, because it's all about fixing the booking from WrestleMania 29, which I did just recently watch.
You mentioned Ryback, and the first image I had was him coming out at WrestleMania looking like a Ninja Turtle.
Shell shock.
Shell shock.
Yeah, I think that's when and I think he turned heel on Cena at WrestleMania. But he was just straight Ninja Turtle. I think it was Raphael.
Wow.
I think it was Raphael.
Wow.
The pre-show was The Miz versus Cody Rhodes.
Oh
man. Well, it's gonna be interesting next week.
Yeah.
Oh, it sure will be, and it'll be a fun show for sure.
Yes, sir.
It will be dynamic.
That's right.
All
right. Well, until then, I'm Notorious when I am Dom. I'm here with BDC. I'm here with Hollywood Strap Facts, and we will see you next time. Boo.